हेलो डियर लिसनर्स, वेलकम टू द चैनल लिश जॉन। और हमारे आज की वीडियो में हम देखने वाले हैं क्लास 12 की फ्लैमिंगो बुक से चैप्टर 1 द लास्ट लेसन एंड इट इज़ रिटन बाय अल्फोंसो ड्यूटे। इस वीडियो में हम मेनली चैप्टर का रिकैप देखेंगे और क्वेश्चन आंसर्स को जानेंगे। तो आइए स्टार्ट करते हैं। तो हमने जो देखा था, चैप्टर स्टार्ट होता है एक छोटी सी कहानी से। वहाँ पर लड़ाइयाँ हो रही है, वार हो रहा है, किसके बीच में? फ्रांस के बीच में और पर्शियन के बीच में। पर्शियन जो कि जर्मनी भी कहलाता है, एंड जो फ्रांस की दो सिटीज़ है एस्लेस एंड द लॉरेन, वो डिफीट हो जाती है जर्मन के द्वारा और जर्मन उस पर रूल कर लेते हैं। एंड वहाँ से ऑर्डर पास होता है बर्लिन से कि एस्लेस और लॉरेन में सिर्फ जर्मन लैंग्वेज ही सिखाई जाएगी, डॉइच लैंग्वेज। एंड द सिचुएशन, ये जो पूरी सिचुएशन जो हो रही है वो एक यंग लड़के के द्वारा जो कि स्कूल जाता है, बॉय फ्रांस के द्वारा दिखी जाती है। एंड वहाँ का जो फ्रांस टीचर थे उन सभी को स्कूल छोड़ने के लिए कहा जाता है कि भैया तुम यहाँ से चले जाओ, तुम्हारा टाइम हो चुका है। एंड उसी के एरिया में जो एम हैमल नाम का जो एक टीचर था, फ्रांस टीचर, वो 40 ईयर्स से उस एरिया में पढ़ा रहा था, यहाँ तक कि उसको भी जाना पड़ता है वहाँ से। एंड चैप्टर स्टार्ट होता है, फ्रांस स्कूल के लिए तैयार होता है और जब वो टाइम देखता है उसको पता चलता है कि वो स्कूल के लिए ऑलरेडी लेट हो चुका है। एंड जब वो स्कूल पहुंचने ही वाला रहता है तो उसको स्कूल में बहुत ही सन्नाटा लगता है कि ये स्कूल इतना, संडे स्कूल जैसा इतना साइलेंट क्यों है। और जब वो थोड़ा अंदर देखता है वहाँ पर विलेजर्स भी बैठे रहते हैं। और जब वो एम हैमल को देखता है, उसने बहुत ही शानदार ड्रेस पहनी हुई है, उसको थोड़ा सा लगता है कि ये क्या चीज़ है। एंड उसने जो होमवर्क उसको दिया गया था पार्टिसिपल्स का, उसने वो कंप्लीट नहीं किया था। उसको लगता है कि एम हैमल उसको डांटेंगे, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं होता है क्योंकि वहाँ पे जो लोग बैठे हुए बहुत ही इमोशनली बैठे हुए थे। एंड फॉर ए चेंज एम हैमल का जो बिहेवियर था, और वो बहुत ही पेशेंटली समझा रहे थे हर एक चीज़ को। अब फ्रांस में क्या चेंजेस होते हैं वो देखता है, वो बहुत ही अटेंटिव हो जाता है, उसमें रिग्रेट्स की फीलिंग होती है कि उसने कभी स्टडीज़ को सीरियसली नहीं लिया। एंड वो एम हैमल की रिस्पेक्ट और ज़्यादा करने लगता है। और एम हैमल डिस्क्राइब्स द फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज कि ये जो लैंग्वेज है फ्रांस बहुत ही लॉजिकल और बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल लैंग्वेज है, बहुत ही पुरानी लैंग्वेज है। एंड वो ब्लेम करता है वहाँ के लोगों को कि आप लोगों ने अपनी और अपने बच्चों की स्टडीज़ को कभी सीरियस नहीं लिया और आप लोगों ने हमेशा चीज़ों को पोस्टपोन किया है कि हम बाद में करेंगे। एंड एम हैमल आस्क एवरीवन टू कीप द लैंग्वेज अलाइव। वो इस लैंग्वेज को, फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज को जिंदा रखने की बात करता है और वो कहता है कि ये लैंग्वेज ही आपको एक जेल से, प्रिजन से छुड़ा सकता है। एंड एट नून द टाइम आ जाता है और एम हैमल मतलब कि बोल नहीं पाता कि उसको क्या बोलना है। एंड वो ब्लैक बोर्ड पर सिर्फ कुछ शब्द लिख देता है, वी लव फ्रांस विद अ हैंड मोमेंट डिस्प्रेसेस एवरीवन। वो जेस्चर से बोलता है छोड़ने के लिए, इसका मतलब होता है फ्रांस लॉन्ग लीव। तो आइए क्वेश्चन आंसर्स को देखते हैं। सो पहला क्वेश्चन, व्हाट वाज फ्रांस एक्सपेक्टेड टू बी प्रिपेयर्ड विथ फॉर स्कूल दैट डे? तो फ्रांस वाज एक्सपेक्टेड टू हैव मेमोराइज्ड द रूल्स ऑफ पार्टिसिपल्स as his teacher M. Hamel had said that he would be caution them on the topic. The next question, what did France notice that was unusual about the school that day? तो फ्रांस ने क्या नोटिस किया उस दिन? So usually there would be a lot of commotion, noise in the movement of the desk, rapping of the teacher's ruler on the table and the lessons being recited in the unison. But that day was silent like Sunday morning, and all was seated and his teacher M. Hamel walking with his ruler under his arm. Next question, what had been put up on the bulletin board? जब वो स्कूल पहुंचने वाला रहता है उससे पहले एक बुलेटिन बोर्ड उसको मिलता है, वहाँ पे क्या लिखा रहता है? So the bulletin board in the town hall informed the people about the order from the Berlin. उसमें क्या मेंशन किया गया था कि from the next day only German language will be taught to the students and their French teacher will have to leave. Next question, what changes did the order from the Berlin cause in the school that day? So जो order Berlin से आया था made everyone, the teacher, villager and the students very sad. They regretted for never being serious about the studies. Everyone was very sincere and attentive that day and wanted to learn the maximum. Let's come to the long question answers. What changes did the order from the Berlin cause in the school that day that can be similar to the previous question? And then we will go through it. Order from the Berlin had come to discontinue teaching of the French language and start teaching the German language from the next day, as France had lost the war. And this brought the life to stand still. सभी लोग सरप्राइज हो गए थे, उनको कभी उन लोगों ने कभी सोचा नहीं था कि ऐसा दिन भी आएगा कि उनकी खुद की मातृभाषा को कभी सीखने का मौका नहीं मिलेगा. And the news had made everyone, the teacher, villager and the students very sad. M. Hamel had to leave the next day. And this being his last French lesson, he wanted to impart the maximum knowledge to all the learners. एम हेमल अपनी आखिरी क्लास में जितना हो सकता था उतना सिखाना चाहता था. So villagers who were present during the last lesson to express gratitude for his 40 years of service, and they felt very bad for the teacher and for themselves, and they regretted for postponing things and never being serious about their studies. And everyone became very sincere and attentive that day, and they wanted to learn the maximum. And the friends felt very much guilty and realized the huge loss they all were going to have. Am Hamel very kindly and patiently made everyone to understand the value of time and the importance of their language, and requested them to keep it alive. Let's go to the next question. How did Fran's feeling about Am Hamel in the school change? So after coming to know that Fran's teaching would be discontinued as per that order from the Berlin, Franz was shocked. He realized that he didn't know much about his language as he had never been serious about learning. He forgot his teacher's ruler and the crankiness. He developed a fondness and the respect for Am Hamel, and the idea of being separated from him forever troubled him. He understood the pain and the agony his teacher would be undergoing, and he became more sympathetic towards his teacher. His school too now carried a different meaning. The books, which he used to consider as a burden, suddenly became his old friends. He never wanted to be separated from them. The school which he would delay in attending, he couldn't give up. He regretted not being attentive in his class earlier. He realized that with careful listening and being attentive in the class, even the difficult concepts turned easy and could be easily understood. Next question. The people in this story suddenly realize how precious their language is to them. What shows you this? Why does this happen? So there are many instances mentioned in the lesson that reflects people realization. The crowd surrounding the bulletin board, backbenches being occupied by the villagers, special dress worn by Am Hamel, the school as silent as Sunday morning, sadness in the atmosphere, emotion change in France for the school and his teacher, Am Hamel in his solemn and the pensive mood, and Am Hamel talking about the qualities of the French language and need to keep it alive are the indicators that refers to the realization of the importance of the language to them. French things will they make them sing in German, even the pigeons. What does it or what could this mean? So there can be 3 or more answers to this. Let's try to understand. So to the people like the villagers of As and the Lauren, and their language is unique like their culture and identity. No other language can replace it ever. Humans may have created boundaries which they think can be controlled by conquering the regions, but no one can conquer nature. By making a reference to the pigeons, the author is cautioning human desire to conquer nature. Yes, try to understand. Notice the underlined words in this sentence and take the option that best explain their meanings. What a thunderclap these words were to me. So the right answer is the startling and the unexpected. When a people are unsolved, as long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. The right answer are attached to their language. Don't go fast. Will you get your school in plenty of time? You will get to your school. So in plenty of time means early enough. I never saw him look so tall. So what about the Mr. Hamel ka gata hai? So seemed very confident. So this can be like a idioms. Let us look at some extra questions of this chapter. So for a moment I thought of running away and spending the day out of door. It was so warm, so bright. The birds were chirping at the edge of the woods, and in the open field back of the sawmill, the Persian soldiers were drilling. It was all much more tempting. So who is I in the above line? He's the narrator and who is the narrator of the Franz is the narrator. And why did he think of running away? Because he was late for the school. He enjoyed being outside than attending the school. So what was he supposed to be prepared with? He hadn't done the homework. So learning rules of the participles. So what did he wanted to do? A thought had come in his mind that he wanted running out and spending the day out. And what did he observe around him that were like temptation to him? Watching birds and the soldier drilling. That means soldiers were exercising. Next, when I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. For the last 2 years, all our bad news had come from there. So, what kind of bad news were put on the bulletin board? Bad news like lost battles, draft, order of the commanding officer. Who is I? Our narrator. Franz is the narrator, obviously. And did he stop to read the latest news? No, he did not stop because he was already late for the school. Whom did he meet there? Blacksmith with his apprentice. What did the person whom he met tell him? No need to hurry, plenty of time is there to reach the school. Was there different news on that day? What was it? Yes, the order from Berlin, German to be taught from the next day. Beside, the whole school seemed to be so strange and solemn, but the thing that surprised me most was to see on the back benches that were always empty the village people sitting quietly. What did the narrator find the most surprising? Villagers seated on the back benches. Who was seated on the back benches? Name some of them. So villagers, elders, old houser is builder, and the former mayor, former postmaster, and the several others. And what were the other things that surprised him? The school being silent, everyone sad, Hamel dressed in his special day's clothes. Why was the school, the people solemn and the quiet? Because of the order from the Berlin, and it was the last French lesson, and Hamel to leave and German to be taught. So what a thunderclap these words were to me. Whose words were the thunderclap? Hamel's announcement. To whom were the words like thunderclap? For Franz. And which words were a thunderclap? It was a last lesson, an order from the Berlin, German to be taught from the next day. Why were words a thunderclap to him? Surprised and shocked to hear the news. Did his reaction being any change to him? Yes, the reaction towards the school and the teacher changed. He started liking his books, forgot the strictness and the crankiness of his teacher, started respecting him. And we must guard it among us and never forget it, because when people are unselved, so long as they hold fast to their language, it is as if they had the key to their prison. So who is the speaker of this line? Hamel. To whom does he speak? To the class and the students and the teachers, obviously, to the villagers. According to the speaker, who would be guarded and never forgotten? The native language. Which language is being referred to here? The French language की बात हो रही है यहाँ पे. And they mention some qualities of that language: most beautiful, clear, and the logical language. And why is a language important? Important for identity and the freedom. Which prison is being referred to? Prison of enslavement. German conquering France. Then he turned to the blackboard, took a piece of chalk, and bearing on with all his might, he wrote as large as he could. Who turned to write on the blackboard? Hamel. What did he write on the blackboard? Vive la France. Explain. Bearing on with all his might, gaining courage, controlling his emotion. Why did he write as large as he could? Last words to be felt and remembered by all present there. Short answers. Why was Franz in great dread of being scolded that day? Because he was already late for the school and not learned the rules of the participles. What usually happened in Franz's class when school began? A lot of commotion, noise in the classroom, opening, closing of the desk, lessons recited in the unison, teachers rapping the rulers on the table. What announcement was made by Hamel at the start of the lesson? It was the last French lesson, order from the Berlin to teach German from the next day. What did Hamel say about the importance of the language to enslave people? Commented on the beauty of the French language. It is its clarity and the logic. Asked all people to keep it alive as it will be the key to their freedom. What final words did Hamel write and why? Vive la France was the emotion and the distraught to speak, wanted people to remember the words for a long time. How does telling the story from young Franz's point of view affect the reader's reaction to the story? The story is obviously very narration, keeps the suspense and the speculation among the readers alive. What were Franz's regret after Hamel announcement of his last lesson? Announcement of the last lesson, realized didn't know much. A lot to be learnt, regretting missing the school and never being attentive in the class. What was Hamel's contribution to the school in Alsace? He had taught French language for 40 years. Why did Hauser and the other villagers come to attend the last lesson? The last lesson, I'm able to leave the region after the order from the Berlin. They wanted to respect and show honor to him for his service. So thank you for listening.